another episode.
Here we are. Welcome to. We have a name for our podcast. We're going to try this to see if it sticks. Okay. Due to underwhelming demand, it's Dave, Rachel, and Foreman. Okay. Or we could just call it Dud.
Due to underwhelming demand, Dud.
Dud works.
It's Dud. The Dud
like
podcast. Dave, Rachel,
Dud
and
with
Foreman. Yeah.
Surf.
Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. And if you want to comment on the show, please do that. You can leave comments.
Give us a 5-star review.
Yeah, give us a 5-star review.
Yeah. We hope that you subscribe and listen so that we can do this more. Because the more people that do that, it tells us that people do want to hear more. So we're kind of just floating this out there for now. So we'll see.
Send us
how
an
it goes.
e-transfer to daverachelforman@gmail.com.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
need sponsors, just so you know. That's right.
All right. This is something that I've noticed recently. Actually, I've noticed it my entire life. I'm lying. My entire life. And I thought I would bring this forward. I always wanted to talk about this on the radio, but I knew that people would get really pissed off, and so I thought, this is probably the ideal spot to do it because nobody can text me and tell me.
Maybe shocking, but there were some topics that we vetoed.
Well, I know.
Maybe they shocked some people. But there
Anyway,
were some things we didn't talk about. Yeah.
Lately, I have been stuck on this, although I've noticed it my entire life, where there are certain vehicles that you don't want to be behind. And I'm not talking about a bus. You don't want to be behind a bus. Nobody wants to be behind a bus.
No.
Or
and
a big truck.
And you don't want to be behind a transport or a dump truck. You don't want to be driving behind those, and I get that. But there are certain vehicles that are even worse than being stuck behind a dump truck. Like, for instance, a Camry.
Oh, Camry specifically.
A Camry.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know, small sedans or something like that.
Camry.
Specifically
Trust
a Camry.
Me, a Camry. I don't think I've ever seen, unless it was stolen, a Camry going faster than maybe 60K in my life. In my life. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't.
You know what? My girlfriend, when we were teenagers, she had a Camry that she would drive and she loved it. But I don't remember us speeding in it. So there might be something to that.
Okay.
For me, I think literally any Buick I avoid. This is actually true. If I see a Buick on the road, I will actively avoid it and go around it or go beside it, whatever I can do, because I know there's an old person in that car going slow.
I'm to the point with Camrys where if there's a bus in the other lane, I don't care. I know the bus is going to eventually. The bus will be passing the Camry. I know that. That's a fact.
It's true.
Foreman?
That's how I feel about Buicks.
Well, I would say it's a 50-50 shot if you're behind an old beater. Because on one hand, they obviously don't care about their car. And they're telling you, I don't care about this vehicle. Hit me, let me replace it.
Right.
And they're either booking it,
they're
booking it, or they want to book it but can't because it's an old beater and it can't go more than 60.
That's right. Yeah, it's just putting along because it can't. It has no pickup and no get up and go.
No, that's right. The car I used to drive in college, I would have to go up to the stoplight and then put it in neutral and rev it so it wouldn't die.
All right, here we go. So we're making a list here. I said Camry. You said an old
Buick. Any Buick.
Performance is a beater. I would say. Also, I would add. I'm not trying to be hard on Toyota, but a Corolla. You don't want to be a Corolla. No, you don't want to be. Okay. And Rachel, you're going to hate me for this. You do not want to be behind a CRV.
Why?
Trust me.
I have a CRV.
Honestly, I know you have a CRV. Yeah. And I've been behind you.
Okay, but any other vehicles, Rachel?
We'll leave. Listen, we would leave work, and Dave and I will leave at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, but Dave is there 10 minutes before I am. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how he made it that quickly.
She would be in front of me for
No,
me.
I'm sure it's speeding. Yeah, even if that's true.
I don't know about that.
No.
Yes.
I have a similar experience.
I don't even know how you would get there if you didn't speed.
Here's a car I'll add to the list then. A Jetta.
A Jetta.
Oh, Jetta.
You are correct.
Yeah. You can't.
I don't know. I haven't had too much trouble with Jettas, but I do have every kind of Hyundai, basically.
Oh,
especially if it's like an Elantra or an Accent. My God, don't get stuck behind a Hyundai Accent.
Oh no, right? I've seen some Hyundai Accents when I would drive into work at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'd see Hyundai; they would fly by me, but I always just felt like, oh, that's just criminal activity.
Yeah,
pay no attention.
Accents.
Oh, probably.
Rip around.
Yeah.
They
pay no attention to
wheels,
them.
The bumpers fly off of them. That's what you do with an accent.
It's like
by the way,
an old beater. No one cares.
Yeah, and by the way, RAV4s don't go any faster than CRVs. Sorry, not sorry.
Gosh. Okay,
I
well,
was only gonna ask if we're gonna put any other. What's your other vehicle, Rachel?
A Toyota Highlander.
Oh yeah,
Highlander.
Those two. Yeah, sure.
Don't go beyond Highlander.
Oh my God, you guys! I hate you. Why did I come back? Why do I come back for this abuse? Okay, I want to tell you a story because when you and I, Dave, left the radio station, we the three of us, if you're new, used to do a radio show together.
Mm-hmm.
Foreman was laid off in February 2020. Dave and I kept going for about a year and a half, and then we both quit at the same time. So we quit in June 2022. And so when I quit, I was going, I had my own voiceover business. So I was working for myself as a freelancer, which is what I'm doing now. So my husband decided to have, and we were joking that I was retiring, and my husband decided to have a little party, a retirement party for me. So he was like, I'm going to get a cake. And then it became a joke that I'm retiring, but I really have to start hustling because I'm freelancing. So you got to hustle, bitch. Right. So he's like, I'm going to get a cake that says hustle, bitch on it. And I was like, okay, that's hilarious. I love that. So he goes in, orders this cake. He goes into the bakery and he's like, do you have one available? Yep. Here's one here. Great. I'll take it. You want me to write on it? Yeah. What do you need? Like happy birthday? And he's like, no. And they're like, well, what do you want on it? He's like, can you write hustle? And he's like, the girl is like 16 years old behind the counter. And so he's like, I don't want to say it to her. I don't want to like say what I want, but I really need it written on this cake. So he's like, can you write hustle BITCH? She's like, bitch. He's like, yeah. Hustle. Yeah. She's like, so you want it to say hustle, bitch? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, I don't write it, but she writes it over there. And so the other girl comes over. She's like, okay, so what do you want on it? And she goes, he needs it to say hustle, bitch. And the other girl's like, what? Yeah.
We got a price check on hustle, bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna price
exactly. Price check. He needs it to say hustle, bitch. And she's like,
what?
Okay.
What?
Well, do you want me to like star out the I? And he's like, no. The full thing. The full meal deal. The whole word.
Just put that bitch on there, okay?
Yeah. She's like, okay. And he's like, don't worry, it's for my wife. And I'm like, that's not better. And she's like, okay. So she did it. And so he comes home with this hustle bitch cake, which we didn't show to the children, but it was very hilarious. And now I'm hustling, bitch.
How many people do you think go into Dairy Queen getting a cake in a similar fashion, but say, let's just say it's for a bachelorette party?
Right.
Oh,
yes.
Sure.
And they want pictures and words.
Sure. Well, that's true. I didn't think about that, actually. So there's that can't be the worst thing they've had. But this was like a very respectable kind of family bakery.
Look, let's get this. A respectable family bakery and Dairy Queen are two different places, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure Dairy Queen has seen stuff in their ice cream they don't want to see.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so...
And then no one picks it up and they're like, well, we can't put that in the case.
Yeah, that's right.
That one can't be resold.
Come on.
Anyway, it was very funny, and we had a good little party, and now here I am hustling every day. There you go.
Do you want a new cake?
It was good cake.
those horses?
What's with the neighing in there? What is that? Is that Windsor, your horse?
Not everything
Your
has
mom's
to be country
horse?
Anymore.
We used to do a country. The three of us worked on a country radio station, so we're very a country music radio station. We're
Our
very
ears-
country still.
Our
Apparently.
ears perk right up.
So Foreman's living out east now. You moved to Halifax. You do a radio show out there.
How long have
How's
you been
life?
there? How long? How many months? Do you count?
No, we moved here in June 2021.
Okay.
So it's been just a bit over a year.
Okay.
Yeah. It not a pleasant experience moving because it was during COVID and you had to like apply to get into the province and they had to approve you. Driving here, you couldn't stop in New Brunswick and it was quite a mess. I had to buy a house without physically being in it. That was fun. Don't ever do that.
Do you like your house?
It's fine.
Oh no, that's another topic for another day.
It sure is. But
boy.
we've made lots of friends and had
good.
It's been a great experience on the radio. If I want to plug another podcast, there is another one that I'm featured on.
Oh, what is it?
Daily episodes. It's Melody and Foreman in the morning.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's available anywhere you get your podcasts.
All right, perfect. That's your radio show
It
out
sounds
there too.
very, very happy, smiley. Melody and Foreman in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
One episode was in fact brought to you live on some guy's lobster boat.
Oh,
That's
cool.
how East Coast I am now.
Cool.
We went lobstering.
I have noticed lobstering. I have noticed from your social media that you are really taking advantage of all the sites on the East Coast.
We're being such a stereotypical tourists on everything, and why not? Because you don't know how long it's going to last. So we went lobstering with this guy, and at the end of it, he gifted us like a box of lobsters.
Oh wow!
Like we did.
Nice.
He had hundreds all day, and they're just piled everywhere on this boat. And then he was like, "Here, how's 13? Is 13 lobsters okay?" I'm like, I don't know what to do with lobsters.
Do you have a pool? That's what I would do. Put them in the pool.
Right. No, you can't. It has to be salt water. I was like, so should I put them in like some water? He's like, well, if it's fresh water, it'll kill them. Okay, good point.
Great.
So what do you do with them? Cook them?
Well, we put them in a cooler for the night. He said, yeah, you just leave them in there, keep them cool. And a couple of them weren't moving too much by the next day.
Ooh,
So
okay.
just get them cooked. We don't have a lobster pot. We don't have the tools. We just use like a spaghetti pot. And you had to like stuff it in there because it doesn't fit. And then wait, the whole house stinks.
Yes. Oh my gosh! Don't cook lobster inside. You got to do it
kids
outside.
Are terrified of it.
Yeah,
So
because you're putting these live lobsters in the pot.
Like they're not a red, cute, cartoon, cuddly little creature. They're so many moving parts. And
So who was responsible for throwing them in the pot?
I put them in the pot, but then Ashley somehow ended up with the responsibility of I don't know what you call it, shelling them.
Oh,
taking
that's
them apart.
hard. Yeah.
And it was a bunch of cardboard pizza boxes laid out on the counter.
Okay.
We don't have any tools. So an assortment of pliers and screwdrivers to try and get them out of the shell.
This is like some sort of Frankenstein
You need-
lab.
yes.
What are you
Well,
doing?
you need to buy
What-
crackers. You have to buy. You live in Halifax.
what are
Like
you
it's
doing?
plentiful.
Expecting them.
Well, you have to buy crack. You have to crack the shell. You have to get
I know
into
that.
them.
Don't use a
And they're
screwdriver.
sharp.
Don't use
And
a
tiny little
screwdriver
spears
on a
all over them.
lobster. Come on.
Yes. It was
Wow.
a terrible process. It took way too long. We had way too many. At the end of it, Ashley refused to eat any of them because she saw them going alive and had to deal with them coming out.
So she didn't eat it.
I'm the only one who ate them. Half of them are still in the freezer. This
you
was
get
months
13
ago.
lobsters.
In the freezer.
How
Wait
many
a
did you
second.
eat? 6?
We got the meat out and then put them in Ziplocs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? I
Wow.
like cooked cold lobster better than hot cooked. Like I like it cold, cooked and then cooled.
Well,
It's
come
just,
get
I
it.
just like the.
We have fun.
Whenever we have, because my sister lives out east, and so whenever we have lobster, I always let my brother-in-law crack them, and he'll shell them all because he's from there. He's from Cape Breton, and they've just had so much lobster in his life, so he knows how to do it. I'm not very good at it. But
Well, I'm
good for you
pretty
guys
sure
for tackling that yourself, because that's
if you-
hard. That's a lot of work.
if you live in Cape Breton, aren't lobsters just roaming the streets? Come on.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Pretty much,
almost.
right?
Some on a leash.
That's right.
Yeah.
On a leash. Everybody's got one for a pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there you go. That's we're just about done podcast. I think this is our second one, isn't it? The second one we've done.
The
anyway,
podcast.
Yeah, we call it the due to underwhelming demand with Dave, Rachel, and Foreman. We're hoping to hear from you.
It sounds like doo-doo.
Yeah, it does sound like doo-doo. Actually, yeah, kind of like that.
Well, I don't know.
Sure.
Dud,
we wanted to know. There's something new to us doing a podcast, and that is for my entire radio career, which was lengthy. You make a point of not swearing on the radio. I mean, you can lose, the radio station could lose a license, you can lose a job. So you have to learn how to be very creative and not swear a whole lot. But in real life, off the air, the three of us, when we worked together and we were all in one room, it was a treat.
It was a treat?
Yeah.
That's probably our greatest skill of being able to just swear every third word, and then you turn a microphone on and you just stop. You just don't.
That's true. We did a lot of that.
I would try to do that too. I know I would like to. I loved doing that to the two of you when we were close to going on the air. I would, and then the mics come on. Anyway, so we.
I was always looking at, because Foreman's in charge of the buttons. He was.
Yeah.
And so I was always looking at where his finger was, and if the mic light was on. Like,
you gotta look.
Say it? No, okay.
The levels on them were always down, but the amount of times a song would just end, and then we're all crying, bursting out laughing,
yes,
and then that's
because we're talking about something.
And then you're listening, and you have no idea what's going on, and
three
dummies can't even talk.
No, we can't.
It's like, why do I listen to these three idiots?
Yeah. Anyway, so the question is, now that we're doing a podcast, we could swear if we wanted to. We could.
There's no rules.
There's no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules anymore.
But the question is, do you really want us to swear? I guess.
Do you want us to swear? Maybe we should just have like one word that we need to like plant in the episode somewhere. You have to listen for it.
Well,
it's like an Easter egg.
If I had my choice, I would recommend that only Rachel swear, because it would be a treat, I think, for everyone. Because there's just...
I, unfortunately, and you wouldn't know this on the radio about me, but I do swear quite a bit. Yeah, it's...
Really?
It's not... it's not ladylike. But I do... And I try not to do it around my kids, but it happens so much around them.
Well, I find
Jeremy gets me in trouble a lot.
Well, I find myself, because of years and years of being on the radio where you can't, that when I was around my kids, it really wasn't an issue. That wasn't an issue for me. If it's an issue for you, Rachel, that's why I want you to swear more.
So we can build
I didn't do it on the radio.
There's enough comments and things you can leave us to say, yes, we would like to hear Rachel swear.
Well,
then we can facilitate that.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for.
That's why we're here.
I could do that easily.
I know.
Unfortunately.
Well,
I
we already know.
I shouldn't admit that, because it's really not a good look. It's not a good look.
The gates are open.
Yeah. But this is...
Anyway.
It's true. It's true. So
feel free to let us know whether you'd like Rachel to swear. Just Rachel in particular.
Just so you're not going to participate in that.
Well, I'm not sure, but I just know that I would appreciate it more if you were allowed to.
Like there'd be one episode where it's going to be episode 9, and this is the Rachel swearing episode. You won't know when. You won't know how often. But it's coming.
It's coming. Anyway, let us know. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Yeah. Fuck.